for 214 nights. His daughter waited by the window for him to come home, every single night. Same small chair, same little blanket, same sleepy eyes staring through the rain-covered glass. And every night, he promised himself, tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow never came. Daniel worked late almost every night. At least that's what he told himself. Sometimes it was work. Sometimes it was drinking with coworkers. Sometimes it was just sitting alone in his car because he was too exhausted to walk inside and pretend everything was okay. Life had slowly crushed something inside him. Bills, stress, arguments. The constant feeling that he was failing everyone around him, especially his daughter, Lily. She was only 7, but children notice everything, even silence, especially silence. At first, she used to run to the door whenever she heard keys outside. Her tiny footsteps echoed through the apartment like excitement itself. "Daddy's home!" And even after the hardest days, that sound could still break through the darkness in his head. But over time, he started coming home later, and later, and later, until most nights, she was already asleep. At least that's what he thought. One evening, Daniel quietly opened the apartment door at nearly midnight. The apartment was dark except for the faint yellow light near the window. And there she was, curled up in the chair, fighting sleep, waiting. He stood there silently. His heart sank instantly. "Lily." Her eyes opened slowly. "You came home." She smiled like he had just given her the greatest gift in the world. Not money, not toys, just presence. That hurt him more than anything. He walked over and carried her to bed. And before falling asleep, she whispered something softly. I tried to stay awake. Daniel barely slept that night because deep down, he knew something terrifying. His daughter was learning how disappointment feels, and he was the one teaching her. The next evening, he promised himself he would come home early, but work got busy. Then traffic. Then his phone battery died. Excuses. Always excuses. When he finally arrived home, the chair by the window was waiting again. And so was she. This became their routine. Night after night, Lily waiting, Daniel apologizing. And every apology started sounding the same. I'm sorry. Work was crazy. I'll make it up to you. Tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow. 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 One night. Daniel came home carrying a small stuffed bear he bought at a gas station. A guilt gift. Something to make himself feel like a better father. But when he opened the apartment door, the chair by the window was empty. At first, he felt relieved. Good, he thought. She finally went to sleep. But something felt strange. The apartment felt colder, quieter. He walked past the window slowly and noticed the little blanket was gone too. That tiny blanket she always wrapped around herself while waiting. Daniel entered her room carefully. Lily was awake, facing the wall. Not asleep, just quiet. Hey, he said softly. I brought you something. She didn't turn around. He sat beside her bed. Usually she would smile instantly. Usually she would hug him. Usually she would ask if he could stay for 5 more minutes. But not this time. Finally, she asked a question so quietly he almost missed it. Are you going to be late tomorrow too? Daniel felt something crack inside his chest. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Because for the first time, he realized she wasn't angry. She was getting used to it. That was worse. Much worse. Children stop hoping before adults notice, and once they stop expecting you, something precious disappears. Daniel stared at her small back in silence, and suddenly, he saw the future. School plays he'd miss, birthdays interrupted by work calls, conversations that would slowly disappear as she got older. One day, a teenager who no longer waited by windows, no longer excited for him to come home, no longer caring. And he realized something horrifying. You rarely notice the moment someone emotionally gives up on you. It happens quietly, slowly, then all at once. The next morning, Daniel called his boss before sunrise. For the first time in years, he asked for fewer hours, less overtime, less money, less chasing, because suddenly, he understood what all of it was costing him. That evening, he came home before sunset. Lily was sitting near the window again, out of habit more than hope. But this time, she heard the door while the sky was still bright. She looked confused at first, then shocked. Then she ran. And when she wrapped her arms around him, Daniel realized something painful. Children don't ask for perfect parents. They just want presence, time, attention, someone who comes home. Years later, Daniel would barely remember the overtime hours, the deadlines, the stress, the extra money. But he would always remember that little chair beside the window, and how close he came to losing something he could never buy back.